Sister Wives, Christine Brown mocks Kody's Special Forces participation, terrible. Sister Wives star Christine Brown is once again making headlines, and this time it's not just about her marriage, her new life, or her memoir. Instead, she's turning the spotlight back on her ex-husband, Kody Brown, with a sharp dose of sarcasm and laughter. The reason? Kody's much-discussed participation in the grueling reality competition, Special Forces, World's Toughest Test. Christine isn't holding back. She openly mocked Kody's attempt at showing off his physical and mental toughness, calling his performance downright terrible. Fans who have followed their messy split know this isn't surprising. Christine has never been one to mince words when it comes to Kody, especially in the aftermath of their divorce. But this time, her comments cut even deeper, because they directly target Kody's pride and ego. Let's dive into what exactly happened, why Christine is speaking out, and how fans are reacting to her mockery of Kody's so-called Special Forces moment. Kody Brown has always portrayed himself as the head of the Sister Wives family, the man in charge, the provider, the leader who could handle anything. But as the years went by on the TLC show, fans began to see cracks in his leadership, his relationships, and his image. That's why when Kody signed up for Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, many people believed he wanted to reclaim some of that lost masculinity and prove to the world, and maybe even to himself, that he still had what it takes. The show, known for pushing celebrities to their absolute breaking points, places them in military-style challenges run by actual Special Forces operatives. Contestants are forced to climb mountains, endure freezing conditions, face their fears, and push their bodies and minds to the edge. It's not a competition against other contestants, but rather a battle of personal endurance. For Kody, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to rewrite his image. But according to Christine Brown, his performance was nothing short of laugh. Christine has been making the rounds lately, promoting her memoir, sharing her new life with husband David Woolley, and giving interviews where she doesn't shy away from talking about her years with Kody. When asked about his participation in Special Forces, Christine didn't hesitate to roll her eyes and mock the attempt. She reportedly described his performance as terrible and admitted she couldn't stop laughing at the irony. Here was a man who spent years portraying himself as the ultimate patriarch, trying to prove his strength on national television, only to fall short and embarrass himself in the process. For Christine, it wasn't just about his physical abilities. It was about the symbolism. Watching Kody fail on Special Forces mirrored what she, and many fans, had already witnessed in their family dynamic, a man who thought he could handle it all, but in the end, struggled to keep everything together. Fans were quick to jump into the conversation. Social media lit up with reactions to Christine's comments, and the majority were firmly in her corner. One fan wrote, "Christine just said what we were all thinking. Kody talks a big game, but when it comes down to proving himself, he can't back it up." Another chimed in, "It's hilarious that Christine is laughing at him because honestly, that show exposed Kody's weaknesses in the same way Sister Wives exposed his failures as a husband." The mockery didn't just come from Christine, it became a public sport among viewers who remembered Kody bragging about his leadership skills on the show. Seeing him brought down by a military-style reality competition was almost too perfect of a metaphor. But why does Christine's laughter sting so much? The answer lies in the history of their relationship. For years, Christine felt like her voice didn't matter in the Brown family. She was often overshadowed by Kody's favoritism toward Robyn and by his dismissive behavior toward her concerns. In many episodes, fans watched Christine break down in tears, frustrated that her opinions and feelings were constantly ignored. When she finally left Kody, it wasn't just a divorce. It was a reclaiming of her self-worth. Since then, Christine has gained confidence, happiness, and freedom, and she's not afraid to express it. So when she mocks Kody's Special Forces attempt, it's not just playful teasing. It's a declaration that she's no longer intimidated by his supposed authority or his inflated self-image. Kody, on the other hand, has been spiraling in recent seasons of Sister Wives. His relationships with his other wives, Janelle and Mary, have crumbled, leaving him with only Robyn. Viewers have accused him of favoritism, neglect, and even narcissism. And while he may have thought special forces would restore some of his dignity, Christine's mockery suggests it had the opposite effect. Her laughter undercuts his entire narrative. Instead of being seen as a man who pushed himself to the limit, Kody is now viewed by many as someone who tried and failed, leaving his ex-wife, and much of the audience, laughing at his expense. Christine's comments also raise an interesting question: why did Kody even sign up for special forces in the first place? Some speculate that it was a desperate attempt to change the public's perception of him. After years of negative press, broken relationships, and backlash from fans, he may have thought the show would portray him as strong, determined, and resilient. But reality television has a way of revealing the truth, and according to Christine, that truth was terrible. Others believe it was a financial decision. With the Sister Wives brand becoming more about the wives' independence than Kody's leadership, it wouldn't be surprising if he sought other opportunities to stay relevant and earn money. Whatever his reasons, Christine's laughter ensures that his special forces appearance will be remembered more as a joke than a triumph. It's also worth noting how Christine's tone has shifted over the years. During her marriage, she often seemed hesitant to openly criticize Kody. Even when she disagreed, she tried to make peace for the sake of the family. But post-divorce, she's embraced a more candid and unapologetic style. This new version of Christine, bold, outspoken, and even a little savage, has become a fan favorite. Her willingness to call Kody out publicly resonates with viewers who long felt frustrated on her behalf. By mocking his special forces performance, Christine is not only reclaiming her narrative but also giving fans the closure they've been craving. The timing of her comments is also significant. With the new season of Sister Wives airing, tensions between Kody and his former wives are at an all-time high. Christine's laughter adds fuel to the fire, reminding viewers that the drama extends beyond the show and into real-life interviews and press coverage. Some fans are even speculating whether Kody will respond. Given his history of defensiveness and his need to control the narrative, it wouldn't be surprising if he lashes out at Christine's comments, either on the show or in future interviews. If that happens, it could set off yet another public back and forth between the exes. What does this mean for the future of Sister Wives? Christine's mockery may seem like a side note, but in reality, it highlights the ongoing divide in the Brown family. The more Christine, Janelle, and even Mary speak out, the more isolated Kody and Robin appear. Instead of strengthening his image, Kody's special forces participation, and Christine's reaction to it, only reinforces the idea that he's lost control of the narrative. The man who once boasted about leading a plural family is now the subject of ridicule, not just from fans, but from the very woman who used to follow his lead. In the end, Christine's mockery of Kody's special forces attempt isn't just about a reality show challenge. It's about years of built-up frustration, years of being ignored, and years of watching Kody fail to live up to his own hype. Her laughter is both personal and symbolic. It represents her freedom, her confidence, and her refusal to take him seriously anymore. For Kody, this is yet another blow to his already fragile reputation. For Christine, it's another victory in her post-divorce journey. And for fans, it's pure entertainment, a reminder that the Sister Wives saga is far from over. Christine Brown's mocking words, calling Kody's special forces appearance terrible, may sound harsh, but they perfectly capture the current state of their relationship. She's free, she's thriving, and she's not afraid to laugh at the man who once held so much power over her. And that laughter might just be the most powerful statement of all. Sister Wives, Christine and Mary Brown's explosive fights over their kids gets uglier. Kids speak. The drama between Christine Brown and Mary Brown has reached an all-time high, and now, the children are finally speaking out about what really went down behind the scenes. Fans of Sister Wives have always suspected tension between the two women, but according to new revelations, their fights weren't just petty disagreements, they were explosive battles that tore the family apart. For years, viewers watched Christine and Mary try to coexist in Kody Brown's plural marriage, but the reality was far darker than what the cameras often showed. Behind the scenes, heated arguments over parenting, jealousy, and loyalty created a toxic environment that affected everyone, especially the kids. And now, those kids are breaking their silence, revealing the pain and chaos that came from Christine and Mary's never-ending battles. Christine has never been shy about expressing her frustrations, and Mary has always struggled with her own insecurities in the plural family. When their children clashed, or when decisions about discipline, holidays, and boundaries came up, the two women reportedly went head-to-head in fiery confrontations. According to insiders, some of these fights were so intense that the other wives had to step in to calm things down. But instead of resolving issues, the conflicts only grew uglier, spilling into everyday family life. One of the biggest sources of tension? The kids themselves. Christine has openly admitted that she often felt like she needed to protect her children from Mary's strict and sometimes cold demeanor. In contrast, Mary felt disrespected, believing that Christine undermined her authority at every turn. Over time, the kids started noticing the animosity. In interviews and social media posts, several of them have hinted at the lasting impact of Christine and Mary's fights. Some have even confessed that they felt like pawns in a war between the two women. One chid admitted, "It wasn't just about parenting, it was about power. We were caught in the middle, and it was exhausting." Another explained, "Christine wanted us to feel loved and safe, while Mary was always stricter." Their fights made it hard to know who to trust or who to listen to. Fans who once assumed the wives' issues were mostly with Kody are now realizing that the fractures within the sister-wife relationships were just as damaging. What makes these revelations even more shocking is that Kody often ignored or downplayed the women's conflicts. Instead of stepping in as the so-called leader of the family, he frequently took sides, usually Mary's or Robin's, leaving Christine and her children feeling abandoned. This favoritism made Christine even more protective of her kids, fueling her resentment toward Mary. Every time Kody supported Mary in a disagreement, Christine saw it as yet another example of the imbalance in their marriage. Over the years, those resentments piled up until Christine couldn't take it anymore. Her eventual decision to leave Kody wasn't just about her failing marriage, it was also about removing herself and her kids from the toxic environment that the fights with Mary created. Now, as the children speak out, fans are realizing just how deep the wounds go. Many of Christine's kids have publicly supported her, praising her for finally walking away. Meanwhile, Mary's strained relationships with the other children have come to light, with some admitting they felt she was distant or even cruel during their upbringing. The difference in parenting styles couldn't have been starker. Christine prioritized emotional connection and making her kids feel valued, while Mary relied on structure and rules. Both approaches might have had merit, but when clashed together in one household, they created endless conflict. Viewers have noticed that even after Christine left, the bitterness between her and Mary didn't fully disappear. In interviews, subtle digs and not-so-subtle shade continue to fly. Christine, now happily remarried to David Woolley, has embraced her freedom and often reflects on how toxic her old life was. Mary, on the other hand, still seems to be wrestling with her identity and her place in the family after years of being on the outs with Kody and the other wives. Fans are divided. Some believe Christine was right to call out Mary's harshness and protect her kids. Others argue that Mary, constantly feeling isolated and unsupported by Kody, was lashing out because of her own pain. Either way, the children's voices make it clear, they were the true victims of the never-ending conflict. Social media has been buzzing with reactions to the revelations. One fan tweeted, "We always knew Christine and Mary didn't get along, but I had no idea it was this ugly. The kids deserve so much better." Another wrote, "This just proves Christine was the real MVP. She put her kids first while everyone else played politics." Meanwhile, some defended Mary, pointing out that she was under immense pressure as the first wife, constantly watching Kody chase after his newer relationships. A fan commented, "Mary was broken by Kody long before Christine started fighting with her. She was lashing out because she was hurting." The explosive fights between Christine and Mary highlight a larger issue in the sister-wives family, the myth of unity. For years, the show portrayed the Browns as a unique but functional plural family trying to make it work. But as time has gone on, the cracks have been impossible to ignore. Christine and Mary's conflict is just one example of how jealousy, favoritism, and clashing personalities made true sisterhood nearly impossible. For the kids, these battles left scars that may never fully heal. Many of them are now adults, navigating their own lives while still processing the trauma of growing up in such a divided household. Some remain close to their mothers, while others have chosen distance. But almost all agree, the fighting between Christine and Mary left a mark. Looking back, it's clear that the fights weren't just about parenting or kids, they were about respect, power, and validation. Christine wanted her voice heard. Mary wanted authority. Both were competing for recognition in a family where Kody often failed to provide balance.